Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle there for another stream on the channel, and tonight is the late night whistle. Tonight we're going to discuss Harry Toffolo, we're going to discuss pre-season, we're going to discuss who makes it in a Marti Cifuentes'S Leicester City squad, by the way, because that one looks very imminent, doesn't it? They are going away to Austria on Wednesday, Leicester City, so they'll hope to get Marti Cifuentes's in. I believe it is all legal bits and that, solicitor work and sorting everything out regarding his coaching staff and that. So that's basically the hold up. So, yeah, we're also going to be chatting about Jamie Vardy being at the training ground yesterday as well. There's nothing in that, by the way. I have checked on things. So, yeah. Hit like button if you're new around here as well. Subscribe. We are live on Ant's Leicester fan channel as well. Ant's put it to his viewers. So big up everyone who's joining. Whichever side of the pond, should we call it. But yeah, let's get the boy in. My mate, Ant. Ant, how are we?
All good, mate. All good. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. Caleb, how are we? Katie, hello. Will be a Marty Monday. Well, we bloody call it that. You can admit you have fallen apart. I wouldn't really say we've fallen apart, mate.
It's the Leeds fan that's still, even after my channel went for 6 months due to everything that went on, like, still, as soon as I'm back, he's back. I've got to rate the commitment.
Honestly, big up to Leeds fans watching Leicester content. It's fantastic. Big up. If you are him, what was his name again? Tom. If you could subscribe, mate, be appreciated to both channels. If Cifuentes's is definite, then can't trust that we're not on another plot twist in the tail with our board. And thoughts on that?
I think it's as close to being done as it possibly can be.
Yeah.
Before, this is the first time that we've had people like Percy, Dorset saying, but it's pretty much done. We're just waiting for compensation. So I'll be really disappointed if it doesn't happen.
Daz, mate, if you want to come on, I'll send the link out. Happy Sunday. I mean, well, we have got back-to-back wins now in pre-season. I mean, a win for Leicester City looks very rare after the last year that we've had. But, you know, it is what it is. Who the hell is this? Where's Jack? Oh, mate, do you know what? I had to take the beard off. Because you know what it's like in this weather, mate. It's just... I look about 10 years younger, mate. I don't recognise myself without a beard, but I'm going to recognise one man I'm going to bring in, and that's Clivo. Clivo, how are we?
Evening, boys.
Can't wait. Can't see Toffolo coming. He's on more than Christensen at Forest. Well, it is what... Well, we'll see about that. Daniel, how are we? Dolce, how are we, mate? Dave, hello. Daz, how are we? I look forward to my pint at Preston away. I all sit in there with legals now, mate. I've heard wink, wink. So, yeah, Daz is basically confirmed it. He was at a training ground yesterday. He did chat to whoever he chatted to at a training ground, and it is all legal bits now regarding Cifuentes's. So that's the hold up. You know what solicitors are like. It has to go through everything regarding payment to QPR and all that, backroom staff and everything. But, and how's your Sunday been, by the way? Have you enjoyed getting over Leicester City winning yesterday in about 180 minutes, whatever it was, 4 hours long?
I know it's a pre-season exercise and it's not about sort of fans' enjoyment, but I'm so glad I had Daz with me yesterday because I've never felt so bored watching Leicester, and I know it's not about being exciting at this stage, it's about minutes in my legs, but God, it was a painful watch.
Daz, I'll put the link in the thing. Clibo, did you enjoy the Leicester game?
Not really. I've got to be honest with you. I enjoyed the first I would say the first 45, but it dragged. It really dragged. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was a fitness exercise. I think the club. I think they probably could have marketed it better in terms of. I think somebody mentioned yesterday on one of the streams that do 90 minutes, then let the fans go out and let another 90 come in. Because I think on a day like yesterday, having that heat and having to sit there through that, probably, I think by the end of it, there was quite a lot of empty seats.
I mean, there's been a fair few at the King Power Stadium. If you've watched the football, people have left early in that, but it is what it is. Right, boys, tonight we're going to discuss all things Leicester. We're going to talk about pre-season, how you think it's gone so far, what you think about how Andy King's got this squad playing some decent stuff, the fitness work, different players. We're going to chat about the Ricardos, Will Alves, Ben Nelson, Jeremy Monga. We're going to chat about the type of squad you think that could play under Marti Cifuentes'S, and we're going to chat about Harry Toffolo, which is a link that's been put out today. How much you read into that is another thing. Hello, Daz. Daz, are you there, mate?
He takes a moment to turn his camera on when he joins.
Man's gone stiff on the stream. Jesus. Talk about Cifuentes'S, more like Cifuentes'S, I believe, at that point, but hey. Yeah, but Clibbo, what's your like? How have you sort of took under pre-season so far under Andy King? How do you think he's sort of treated everything regarding fitness and that?
Oh, I think overall he's been very good. I think he's had a remit from probably top. This is how I want you to set the boys up in training. I want them fit. I want them playing attractive football. And I think he's done a grand job. I also like the way that he seems pretty media trained as well. It's almost like he's being bred to be the next Leicester manager. I'm not saying that is going to happen, because if this guy sticks around, the new guy, for 2 or 3 years, Andy King might be going, well, I want to be a manager by now. So. But it'd be a shame to lose him, and I think he's holding the fort really, really well.
Guys, what's your thoughts on the pre-season so far? I know it seems like a very long pre-season watching Leicester City, especially yesterday in that heat. I mean, we'd probably just sit here sweating, just bloody watching it, to be fair, and getting our fans out. But yeah, talk to me how you think Andy King's handled the pre-season schedule and that. And it is believed that this squad looks more fitter than it has done in the last 2 seasons, by the way, what Kingy was saying.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy with how things have gone so far, considering obviously this is his first stint taking control of first team. It's all for me, and obviously I think, like I said, I watched it with Ant. You popped in yesterday when we were doing the stream, and it was a very long 4 odd hours worth of football, so I was happy to have the company. But I think Andy King's done really well. He's clearly galvanised the players. He's got a lot of players working together. He said on about last season, he think they didn't run through brick walls for each other. So I think he's instilling the basics, keeping the fitness up, doing this, that, and the other, ready for the pass on if and when obviously the new guy comes in. So yeah, quite pleased so far.
And what's your thoughts?
Yeah, he's doing exactly what you'd hope he would do, and I think that's a credit to him, because he is a new coach. But as mentioned, the players look sharp. They look a lot fitter than they did at this stage last season. Me and Daz talked about it yesterday. When you compare that game yesterday to Lens away, and I know the opposition level at Lens was night and day difference from OH Leuven, but they just looked unfit running around that pitch in France, and they just looked like they were chasing shadows. Yesterday, take away all of the football and the tactics, philosophy, etc. At least they looked fit, and that's got to be the starting block for any new manager coming in. You want a fit, sharp team.
I agree. I think this squad worked the bloody arse off yesterday. Let's be fair. He did say, Andy King, though, 30 players. He said if I put a squad out for 90 minutes, he said another 20 players would actually just sit there doing nothing. So he said I had to get everyone involved, get them fit, because he said basically that dust off the cobwebs. But that's what pre-season's about. It's about getting them sharp, fit, and everything. It's not about winning. He said that it's about getting this squad collectively ready for the Championship, which is 4 weeks away to today when we play Sheffield Wednesday at home. Obviously, they are going to be going to Austria, aren't they, on Wednesday for about 10 days or so to play some teams over there, which I find surprising, to be fair, don't you, Ant, that we're not playing anybody over here apart from at Seagrove?
Yeah, because we normally have like the friend. Last year we had a friendly against Shrewsbury, didn't we? But we didn't play it at Shrewsbury. Where did we play that?
We played at Shrewsbury, didn't we? We had that one pre-season game, then we went to France.
Yeah,
We at Chesterfield, didn't we? We were at Palermo over here.
Yeah, because normally we play a few of the a few lower league teams. Because we played Northampton Town a couple of years ago. Normally we have our annual game against Burton as well. Didn't get that last year in pre-season. Got it as our first cup game. But it's like there's normally a couple of like away games, aren't there? So that fans can go to. Then you have the big away game in Europe, which again we don't seem to have that this year either, do we? Because it's the one in the ones that they're going to in Austria. They're not. I don't think they're being sold to fans, are they?
Clibbo, which players have... we'll talk about the youth development in a minute, but which players from the senior squad have surprised you in pre-season? Which ones look like they're doing really well? They look well. They look like they're really up to speed with things. I would really touch on... where is he? Let me find him. This man, Ricky P. This guy looks sharp. This guy looks very fit.
He does. And the reason I wasn't going to mention him or JJ is because I think they're ones you would expect to be. What I will say is, and it pains me to admit it, but I actually thought Jordan Ayew looked leaner, fitter, and did a bit of a job yesterday when needed. So that leads me on to think that potentially he might have a role next season. And I think with the amount of youth that are coming through and the amount that we potentially will have to play, I don't see the harm in having a couple of those guys sticking around at all. And I think his hold-up play wasn't too bad yesterday. That corner was outrageous. I mean, whether he meant it, Christ only knows. But it went in the net at the end of the day. And last season, without his goals, we could have been in the shit. To be honest, what did that say?
It said the word that a role's been banned from this, been banned, Clibbo.
Oh right, okay. I apologise. Yeah. I would say I would have to say on yesterday's performance, surprisingly, I would say Jordan Ayew.
But well, Jack, come on, you Blues. Where did the ninja go? What ninja? I didn't realise we bloody had one fighting our corner yesterday in pre-season. Daz, which players have surprised you?
I mean, it's hard to say surprise because obviously going off pre-season, I would have to say I'm not surprised as in how good they are, but I'm just surprised how well they seem to have fit into the squad. Is all the youth players? I think all the youth players look absolutely at home. They look at home. There's no massive shock to them actually fitting in. They all seem to look like they belong there. It's a nice thing to say. So, not surprised at the good. Monga's ripping it up as we know he does. Jaden Joseph, there's so many youth players. Like I said, the shocking thing for me is it looks like they are better than 50% of the players that we currently have in our squad. So I think it's a good surprise, not a bad one.
I agree. Obviously, there's been links about this man, Bilal El Khanous. Obviously, the new manager's going to be coming in. It doesn't look like anyone's leaving Leicester City at this present time because they haven't got the new manager yet, Abdul, let's be honest. But, Clibbo, what is your thoughts on El Khanous? Do you think Cifuentes'S could persuade him to stay for one season and see what happens? How do you think it'll pan out for him?
Well, I've gone backwards and forwards on this. In the first instance, I was like, well, I think we need to sell him. because he's an asset. We were in financial trouble, blah, 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 along with Mads. But I'm thinking last season, I don't think his stats were good enough for a big club to take him. I mean, there was rumours of Liverpool. If he goes to Liverpool, he ain't getting a game, is he?
No.
He's not getting a game. I don't care what anyone says. He's not getting a game. He'll be a sub here and there, and maybe develop there. But if he wants to play football and he wants to impress, I think he could potentially stay at Leicester. And you know what? He's the kind of he seems like the kind of character that would, if he had to stay at Leicester, he would knuckle down and get on with it and not moan.
Well, someone said he could be sold to a team like Fulham, Wolves, that sort of team, according to
Maybe
Ivan.
so.
What do you
Maybe.
reckon regarding Bilal? Obviously, he's just come back for pre-season, hasn't he, with Leicester. There's no one really knocking on the door to make a bid at this minute in time. But what do you reckon, Ant? Do you reckon he could stay potentially? Obviously, he is a sellable asset for Leicester this transfer window. Where do you sort of see him, man, regarding Bilal in his future at Leicester?
In an ideal world, he stays, but I think that's so dependent on what else we can sell. Because if he's the only player that anyone comes in with any money for, I think he'll have to be sold. But if you can move on your likes of Wout Faes, Victor Christensen, Boubacar Samari, Patson Daka, you're less inclined to have to sell him. But does he want to be at Leicester in the Championship as well is a big question. Because if he doesn't want to be here, don't care how good you are, you know where the door is. But if he wants to be in the Championship, get his head down and really work hard, absolutely. And I think he would tear the Championship apart. I think he would be by far and away the best player in the division.
I agree. Daz, what do you reckon with Bilal? Is he one you realistically think we can keep hold of, or do you think it depends on the conversations he has with the new manager? Well, head coach, shall we call him?
Well, I've had this conversation with a couple of people, and I think Bilal is a unique is a unique buy. So we bought him for 20 odd million. He's only on 35,000 pound a week wages, which is top end Championship wages.
Yeah.
In regards to PSR, it's not going to make too much of a difference if we sell him because, all right, you get the money back. But it's if we were to get rid of players like Wilfred Ndidi, £9 million pure profit, maybe get Connor Cody off the books, Wout Faes, Christensen, all these other players, and we could keep Bilal. You imagine Bilal's stock going up through the roof next season or the season after this one, because he was able to score 20 odd goals, absolutely rip the living daylights out of the Championship. We would then be able to ask 40, 50 million, and then Bilal might get a top 6 club in the Premier League, or basically, I think if he stays, it's got to be sold to him that he's going to be a starter. It's going to kickstart his career, and he's going to get a lot of clubs, maybe Champions League, Europa League football. He's only 21, so it could work in his benefit.
I think a lot depends on his international manager as well at this stage.
Yeah,
I agree. Everton, that's why we need Marti and ASAP to work out with these players and convince them to be a part of the project. I mean, you look at most of the squad. I mean, Leicester fans would probably get rid of most of the squad after last season's antics, but realistically, we're not going to get rid of everybody, are we? Let's be fair. The wages is going to be the stumbling block when clubs come to buying our players, and that some will go because they will find a better project than Leicester with how things are at the minute at the club, but. What do you reckon regarding getting in Marti ASAP, and who do you realistically think you can actually convince to stay?
Well, he should have been in, and I think it's a good appointment. I think getting him in as ASAP, he should have been in from the start of pre-season in reality, and I don't think it can go on for much longer because we've got 2 more pre-season games. He needs to have a look at the team before the season starts, and also the longer it goes on that he's not in place, the less time he will have to convince players to stay. What we don't want to happen is players already go before they've even had those conversations with managers. But at the same time, I'm always of the feeling if players really need convincing staying, I don't really want them here, to be honest, because you want their heart to absolutely be here
Yeah.
100%. So if they're really needing to be talked into staying, then they'll be very quick if an offer does come in the future to move anyway.
Stu says, Clibo, I'm already dreading Leicester struggling to replace Marti after a great season. Obviously, if you're being poached, it means you've done a fantastic job at a football club. It means you're doing your job perfectly and everybody likes what you're doing. But that happens in the way, that's the way the cookie crumbles in football, isn't it, Clibo? You know, if you're doing shit, no one wants you. But if you're doing good, then everyone wants a piece. So what do you reckon?
Well, I've heard this argument many times. Me, I couldn't give a toss. if look, if you're going to get a manager who you know is going to do well, you have to expect him to be poached or headhunted or whatever. But it means that we're in a better position going forward to get somebody of a similar level or even better.
I'm in agreement. Ross, if Blau stays, he's going to... Bloody hell, Star Wars side of things, Ross. Jesus, I thought it'd be a wrestling comment knowing you, but it is what it is. Daz, what's your thoughts on what Ross has said there regarding Bilal?
Yeah, I think it'd be a bit of a cheat code, quite frankly. I like the Star Wars pun; that's always nice. But I do think it'd be a bit of a cheat code if he stays in the Championship with us. But I think the only caveat to that, and I say it's a caveat, I think it'd be bad for the development maybe of some of the younger players. So if Bilal does stay, the chance of maybe your Mongers and your, all the other youth players that maybe take up or can take up a position in that midfield role or a wide area would maybe, be sacrificed a little bit. So something to think about.
Or
Go on.
Or it allows a lesser experienced player to replace Bilal after 70, 80 minutes and bring him on slowly.
Fair point. Yeah.
And players out of contract, Daka, Ricardo in a year's time, James Justin, Jordan Ayew, Bobby D. Cordova-Reid. There's 8 players out of contract. If you could look at them 8 players, which ones would you actually keep hold of and give new contracts to?
I think Harry Winks and Ricardo are the only ones, and I know a lot of people won't keep Harry Winks after last year and his sort of disagreement and how he acted with it when he fell out with Rude, but I'm still convinced there's a very good player there. We just didn't see it last year. We saw it in the Championship. I think there is a Premier League level player there, but again, there's a real fair conversation to be said that there's not. Apart from that, I would bin the rest of them.
Fair enough. Clibo, this man was spotted at the training ground yesterday. Obviously, a lot of discussion to see if he were actually going to come back on another year's contract. People were speculating, why is Jamie Vardy at the training ground yesterday? He did get told that he'd be invited by the club to come and watch. He does still love the club, and he said he'd be around the club even when he does leave. I mean, they could probably do with a striker of his calibre next season, couldn't they, Clibo, in the Championship?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. There's no bigger fan than Vardy than me. I idolise the guy. But if we were offered for him to come back, I'd say no. At some point, you have to move on. And I think if I'm honest with myself, he can do better than Leicester City right now. So go off, go get the last ends, the back end of your career, make some money, more money, and then come back to the club eventually. But I don't see the point. I don't see the point in him coming back. And I think at the end of the day, it was just him enjoying a bit of camaraderie and watching some of his mates play football. I think Vardy will be secured in a nice contract, somewhere hot, somewhere sunny, and live his last 2 years. I think he'll do two more years of football. There's no need for him to be. There's no need for him to have his arse kicked up in the Championship for two more seasons. You know, he's 38. He might as well go in there, play where there's a bit of vitamin D in his bones.
Yeah, I don't see his move being quite imminently at this minute in time. I think he's just having family time, and he's no rush to make any decision regarding where he goes next. I mean, he's got till start September, so it's a big decision. There'll be a lot of people interested in Jamie Vardy. Valencia's been one of them. Sunderland's been reported today again to be monitoring him. What do you reckon?
He doesn't need to wait till the end of a transfer window because he's a free agent. He can see sort of what opportunities open up throughout the season as well. So he could wait to see, like, maybe if a striker at a big club gets injured, then he could be the option there. So he's in absolutely no hurry to make his decision. But yeah, I agree with everything said about it. As much as we all love Vardy, it's time to move on. We can't just keep looking backwards. We've got to look forward. It's like as much as last time in the Championship, he was brilliant. But there was a visible decline in him in the Premier League in terms of him physically, of just how much he was running about the pitch last year. But I just don't think it's the right decision if we do keep him or do re-sign him, particularly after the big send-off as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense, would it, to be fair? I thought he was going Man United. He probably will. I don't know. Yannick Vestergaard. Obviously, Bobby De Cordova-Reid's having extra time after he was playing for Jamaica and that. Hermansson's still in rehabilitation, and so is Fatawu. No sign of Vestergaard yesterday. I don't know where the guy is. I don't know what he's up to. To be fair, what do you think his future is at Leicester City? Because the Danish media seem to think that he is willing to give it a crack in the Championship, but then you know what media outlets are like when they report stories, but who's going to pay the wages?
That's the point. My point is he's going to go nowhere. He'll retire at Leicester City. He's been given a lucrative 60 grand a week or whatever. Probably come down a little bit now with the relegation clause. You'd hope so, exactly. So I don't know. For me, as long as he's not starting over Ben Nelson and Caleb Okoli, if we do keep hold of Caleb Okoli, I do feel that is the future. And I would hate, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, I would hate Marti Cifuentes'S to come in and see him and go, yeah, do you know what? We need a bit of experience alongside our back line. No, I would like to think that he would be used as a squad player. There are 46 games, including cup games and all that sort of stuff. So as a rotational squad player, to take the edge off a couple of our players would be absolutely phenomenal. But I don't want him anywhere near us. I think we've got an abundance of useless centre-backs. And I think we need to get rid of a few of them, namely Sideshow Bob and, Vestergaard. Connor Cody as well. I think he's just been a cheerleader for the last few years, highly paid cheerleader. So yeah, I think, we need a bit of a clear out.
I agree with what Scott's saying there, Clibo.
What's that? Vestergaard would have been on the phone to Rudkin looking for an extra. Do you know what? I absolutely agree with what you've just said there, Daz, that we have an abundance of shit in the back line. But during pre-season, we've also got an abundance of pacey, decent centre-backs too. And I don't see a world where I need to see Vestergaard in a Leicester shirt again. I don't see it. I can't justify it, even if I was being as kind as I could possibly be. I can't see. I admired his passing range. I've always said that his passing range is outstanding, and you can't deny it. But we've got young players that are doing that anyway. Yeah. We've got young players that could do 200 metres before he could do 100. It's ludicrous. And he's just going to have to sit it out. And if we have to pay his wages, unfortunately, we're going to have to budget for that. But no, I think it was a massive mistake re-signing him. for 3 years. A massive mistake. I'd have given him a year. And if we didn't accept it, he would have had to have gone. But he's here, but we don't need him.
I agree. Get Suter fit. The lad from Sheffield United said he was class. What's your thoughts on that, Daz? Harry Suter. Obviously, he's not fit at the minute, is he? He did have a big injury, but would he fit somewhere in that back line?
I mean, the thing is, I think I feel sorry for Suter in a way because we did obviously buy him. Obviously, Rodgers wanted him. We bought him in, and he wasn't really utilised to any potential, quite frankly. Which obviously wasn't very nice for him. He's gone out on loan. He's never really been given a proper run within the team, and I've always thought he was actually quite a decent player. So whether Marti Cifuentes'S thinks there's something there, my gut would say, as a fan, I'd always like to say give him a go. But I genuinely think that the board may be pushing for a move and just say, look, it's not worked out. We need to recuperate some money, which is why I think we've not seen any outgoings yet. I think the manager's going to go through everything, discuss everything, talk to people, see where their head's at, see where his head's at, and then go, right, gone. And then there'll be up or loan moves to try and get him off the wage bill.
And if can't get rid of him, loan him out. Gets where the wages going.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that Vestergaard? Sorry.
Yeah, Vestergaard.
I wouldn't be against him being a fourth choice centre back because I'd have Caleb Okoli, Ben Nelson, Harry Suter ahead of him. Mm-hmm. Fourth choice, I wouldn't be against having him there just as a bit of experience. And I think in the Championship you could do a lot worse than him because But I also agree with the fact that we've got a lot of good young centre backs. So if that's going to take away from their game time, then probably not. But then I'd look to loan out. What was the lad who started yesterday at centre back who drove forward really well? Yeah, I would look to loan him out because I think he would benefit much more from a season playing regular football in League One or a lower end of the Championship than playing occasional minutes for us.
Clibo, Jack Harrison. Chris is asking here, would you take him at Leicester? Leicester's been linked with him before. He did have a medical at Leicester once upon a time, by the way, and then Leeds pulled the plug completely. Obviously, he's not 30 odd, is he? But he is in his 20s. Obviously, we have got a lot of wingers, haven't we? Clibo, Mavadidi, Fatawu, McAteer. Would you take Jack Harrison Would you take Jack Harrison from Leeds?
No. I don't see the point.
I
don't see the point. No, I don't see the point. And it's the same as this Forest link. What's the point? We're just getting linked with players that we don't need. We've got an abundance of talent on the wings. What's the point? We need a striker. That's what we need. And I don't actually think I would be too bothered if we went into the season only buying a striker. Because I think there's enough talent there. The thing is about the youth players, they might not be experienced, but what you're seeing is you've seen a culture over the last sort of 4 or 5 years maybe of them growing together, playing together and having the same ethos all the way through the youth. It was only when you got to the first team that it was like a patchwork cloth in terms of any continuity. So maybe if we're playing the youth and they've got this kind of, they're on point with each other, then maybe that will drive into the first team and create this looped culture that I think the club is desperately needing, and the only way really to be sustainable in the Premier League ever again.
I agree. For Tawu, when will he be back in the starting 11? It'll take him time to get back again to doing what he did best. Obviously, that serious injury is going to hinder him a bit, but hopefully he can pull very much through it. And when do you realistically see Fatawu? Is he one that you'd start on the first day against Sheffield Wednesday, or do you think you'd very much bed him back in?
You have to bed him back in with the type of injury he's had. I think you start it out with 5 minutes off the bench, then you build it up to 10 minutes, then up to a half, and then to 90 minutes. If you throw him back in the deep end, and we saw this with Brendan Rodgers with players when they got injured, if they're not fully fit and then you start playing them 90 minute after 90 minutes, they're going to just get injured again. You've got to take your time with it. It's with recovery. That's a brilliant comment, Ross, by the way, mate. That's absolutely unreal.
And you're a secret Leeds fan.
Hey, I'm not the one who's on a Leicester fan channel on Sunday evening.
Steve, welcome.
Evening.
There's a few decent strikers on a free at the minute, aren't there? Callum Wilson's name's been mentioned today. What do you reckon, Steve? Where do Leicester City realistically need to look regarding which strikers they actually take? I mean, how old do you realistically go with, Steve?
Well, I don't think you go for too old. I think you can rule out Dominic Calvert-Lewin and maybe Danny Ings for Calvert-Lewin because he's old. Oh, no, he's old. Sorry, he's injured. Sorry, quite a lot of the time. So he's not worth it. Danny Ings is too old for me, and also will want a big wage. I've only just popped in for the last sort of 10 minutes. So, who else has been mentioned?
Nobody else has been mentioned regarding strikers. It's the first one we've actually had.
Okay, thank God for that. Yeah, well, we can get rid of Jordan Ayew and Patson Daka, that's for sure. Because my God, they would. Okay, Ayew scored from a corner yesterday. I get that, but like, it's quite easy to hit a non-moving target when you're stationary, right? It can't be that difficult to do. So, get him gone, get Daka gone. Awful players. God.
I'll tell you what, he missed from 5 yards yesterday, Patson Daka. Great ball by Jake Evans, by the way, and he should have been putting it in, according to Jerry Taggart on the commentary.
Yeah, he should have done.
Got to do better. Let's have a look at Jordan Ayew's corner.
Oh, no.
Good goal.
Do you know what? Right? That guy gets his critics, doesn't he, Ant? But he does score some goals, Jordan Ayew. He gets a lot of critics, but he does try more than probably.
Put me on his wages. I'd run around a bit if we're really going to credit that. Like, honest to God. And I said this to Daz yesterday.
That's what's made him bad in his pace. His money in his back pocket.
I said to Daz yesterday that like the only good thing he seemed to be doing was even before he scored the corner. Some of the deliveries into the box from the corners were good, but when he was trying to press, it looked like he was running like with Timberland boots on. It's painful to watch. Yeah, he pops up with the odd goal here or there, but surely we can't be looking at starting the season with him as our number 9. I wouldn't be against him being used as an option off the bench to help you see out games. I think that should be what his role is. He can't. Surely he can't be starting. I'll go out on a limb now. I'd rather see Casey McAteer play as a striker for us next season.
That's been mentioned.
Than Jordan Ayew.
Yeah, where is Edward? I don't know what bloody happened to him when we had him, to be honest. Edward. They did offer him a new-year deal, though, didn't they, before we took him on loan?
Can I chuck a few free agents out, striker-wise, to see if anyone's interested?
Go on, then. Yeah. What we got?
Okay. So, we've already know about the Calvert-Lewin, Callum Wilson, and sort of Danny Ings sort of situation. But, right, Ryan Brewster. He's a striker, Sheffield United previously.
He started to come good, didn't he, towards his time at the end?
Yeah. I'd take Brewster.
Next one, Ollie McBurney.
He's a big bastard. I'd have him just because he's
he throw his weight around. That's at QPR, didn't he? And he were a big boy up front. Well, that's because he had.
I think that's something that we're missing. Is height. I think a lot of the play over the last 2 games. There's been no end product, and one of the things I think we're missing a bit of a fox in the box. That's for certain. That option, that pass to him. But I also think when the chips are down, you just need to get the ball in the area. There's no real height, and I mean yesterday that excuse my French, but that header that Daka, like, come on, what the hell? We can't have that.
Clever.
I mean, in any league, you've got to get that on target, ain't you?
Yeah.
And we haven't got some big nutter that can just bang one in.
We've seen Steve Atwood score a few of them in their time, haven't we, lads? Let's be honest.
I've seen plenty of Leicester defenders score a lot of goals like that over the years.
In front of the bigger double-decker, didn't he, against Arsenal?
Marti Elliott as well, Taggart, Gilchrist even.
Anyone else you've got, Steve?
Yeah, there's one that we all linked with a few years ago, Joshua King. He's 33 now, so quite old, but, not too bad.
He's
previously at Toulouse.
I would look at spreading. I would look at spreading across the team more. I don't think we can. It was bandied around how we're going to replace Jamie Vardy. Well, you're not going to replace Jamie Vardy in a month of Sundays. We've got to start looking at how to progress into going forward and making the team score. I think that's the only way you combat that issue. We can never afford somebody that could score 20 goals. Certainly not this season as an out-and-out striker.
I think we need to go into the loan to buy market. I think we need to go loan obligation to buy with a up-and-coming striker who's maybe struggling to get game time at like a Bundesliga side, Bundesliga 2, Serie A side, a good up-and-coming striker with a loan with an obligation to buy if we get promoted via the playoffs, because we ain't going to get first or second with a points deduction. No. And we ain't going to have the money to splash 10, 15 million in the Championship with, whatever they're going to chuck at us. So I think our best option is to stick with an ethos of young talent like Sunderland. Sunderland have got good young players that they're buying for to future-proof it. So I think if we do that, I think we should be all right. But again, it's finding the right players, because we tried that last season with a loan with an obligation to buy from Bayer Leverkusen, and the guy left us to go somewhere else. So I don't know.
We're definitely having a Mando Broja. That guy's always injured.
I've got one more for you, Jack.
Go on.
I know you'd love this one, actually. Diego Costa. He's quite young at 36, but he could do a job, right? A little bastard.
That guy looks like he's bloody past it. The look of him.
Jesus, what?
That guy looks older every season you see him.
I'd rather have Harry Maguire up front.
Honestly, I'd rather bring Big Wes out of retirement and put him up front.
That's what I mean.
I'm hoping Vestergaard could do a job up front, but he can't bloody header in. He's 6'7", so that's a problem in itself.
I tell you who can do a job up front, and he did it for his last team that he was with before we bought him, and that's Mavididi. Mavididi was a number 9 for his last club when we bought him.
They tried that on the end.
Montpellier.
I think in the Championship, it'd be worth a go.
It would, because he's got the pace to get him behind.
He's a natural finisher as well. He knows where the back of the net is. So if you've got pacey wingers like, if we're taking our time bringing Fatawu back in, you've still got Casey McAteer, you've got your Mongers, you've got Alves and Monga could maybe go left wing or middle, or however you're going to do it. It doesn't matter. You've got someone who knows where the back of the net is. But honestly, hot take, I think if we don't bring any people in, I still think we've got a squad that's capable for top 6, even with a 12 points deduction. I think it's going to come down to the manager, I feel.
I agree. So, with what you're saying about Mavididi, though, I think the one thing is, if you take him off the wing, you lose the biggest strength of his game, which is him driving at defenders.
And that's the biggest caveat. That's the biggest caveat, yeah.
You need him out wide. Evans talks about it. We need a young, exciting player. Can't handle any more OAPs coming in. Silly money. Young academy players. Steve, this is where Leicester's got to look next season, aren't they? You look at Vestergaard, Fazes, the Codys and that, but then you look at what you've got to caveat that. You've got Ben Nelson, you've got a Luco who can play, you've got Will Alves, you've got players who can actually probably more hungrier to actually cement a place in the squad next season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we have to look that way anyway, because we can't keep giving up big contracts to players that are over the age of sort of 29, for 3 or 4 years, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, you've got to look to the youth. You've got to play the players that are going to make you money more than anything. It's ridiculous thinking that you're going to get 3 or 4 years out of somebody like Jordan Ayew or even Harry Winks to an extent. I know his contract expires next year, but it wouldn't surprise me if we got promoted and we offer him a new deal, a 2 or 3 year deal. So yeah, you've got to look towards these exciting players. And I was there yesterday. I only watched 2.5 of the games because my God, 4 hours of watching Leicester is too much even for me. But a lot of the young players, they look to class above quite a lot of the time, even compared to some of our older players. Aluko looks like a fantastic young central defender who can play on the left and the right. Page in the middle. Even the Armani that came on at sort of right back, or left back, sorry, that replaced Christensen, looked pretty decent. So yeah, as long as we can sort of bring these players through and give them time, then I'm more than happy with that. But just one more striker, and this one's actually a genuine suggestion that I think could work because there is links to Leicester. What about Heskey's son, Ryan Heskey, who's at Man City's academy? 17 at the moment, but he turns 18 in January. But he could be a decent young lad who's already linked to Leicester with his dad. His dad's at the club, so you never know.
Clibbo, Che Adams.
My thoughts when all this kicked off about with no money and all the rest of it, and seeing the talent that we've got coming through, I personally wouldn't be signing anyone that's over 25.
Agreed.
But if you're going to do it, you might as well do it.
Yeah.
Because of sell-on. I don't want to be the club anymore. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding frustrated with it, but I don't want to be the club anymore where people come here and have a last payday. I don't want that anymore. It has to stop. I don't care whether he'll get his 20 goal. I don't really want it. I want to see a young, progressive team going forward with what we've already got experience at the club, enough experience. So let's build around that using youth.
It's just changing that wage strategy in it, Steve, at Leicester, which has been the caveat of bloody Leicester's demise with PSR and that. That's been the massive issue in it with Leicester handing out these big Champions League wages.
Yeah, for a club that hasn't been in the Champions League for a very long time. So giving out 100 grand for a player is outrageous, and giving a player 75 grand when you've just been relegated from the Premier League to the Championship is downright, idiotic. I understand you wanted to bring these players in that will give you some experience, but the amount of money we give out to players that just haven't produced the goods. And I know we got promoted, but then look how we were in the Premier League the next season. I'd rather give a player incentives. So you say, okay, we're going to start you on 30 grand a week, and then in a year's time, if we stayed up, we'll give you a 10% pay rise or a 15 or whatever, and just give them incentives to go to work towards. Because my God, giving someone like Jordan Ayew 60 grand a week at his age to watch him press the slowest I've ever seen anybody press in my life. Like, I fractured my coccyx, and I'm quicker at pressing than Jordan Ayew is. Right? That's how bad it is. So, we need to give out cheaper contracts over longer periods to players that have incentives to do well, rather than long contracts with shit players.
Francelino, FC Midtjylland, 21 years old, young striker. I know there was one that got rumoured from Inter Milan, wasn't it, the other day?
Yeah, the thing is, I couldn't tell you anything about that lad from Midtjylland. I'll be honest, never heard of him in my life. But that doesn't bother me because it's like I hadn't heard of Fatawu before we signed him. It's like if the scouting's done right, and we get I think a lot of our best signings I hadn't heard of before they arrived. So the ones that worry me are the ones that are supposedly the established players. And as Clipper mentioned, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be this club that's just giving out these stupid contracts to players coming here for that last payday. So go for these young, hungry, up and coming players. Absolutely.
Right, I'm gonna pass this to all of you. To be fair, Clivo brought him up earlier on, so we might as well discuss him. To be honest, Harry Toffolo, has been linked with Leicester, by the way. Free agent, 29 years old. He doesn't see how many wages he's on, realistically. 99 games he's played in the Championship, by the way, scoring, I think, just 9. He's a fullback, left back. It's one that's been rumoured to replace Victor Christensen if he does leave Leicester City this summer. Steve, Toffolo, yes or no?
He's done well at Forest, I guess. But is he better than what we've got at the moment? Well, I guess Luke Thomas and Christensen are probably better than those two. Yes, why not?
All right, fair enough. And
If it means Christensen goes, then fine, as long as it's only a short-term deal. Because I think Luke Thomas got so much better towards the back end of last season, and like he looks like he's bulked up a bit and doesn't get pushed around like he did before. And I'll be happy with Luke Thomas starting for us next season. Victor Christensen is a trier, but he's not a footballer. He works hard, but it just all looks so unnatural to him. So if it means Christensen moves on, we bring Toffolo in as a rotation option for 1-2 years, fine.
Daz, Harry Toffolo, obviously Championship experience. Leicester will look to get rid of probably a few players this transfer window. Someone did talk to Christensen's dad at the Peterborough game, and he said he's very much looking like he could be staying at Leicester City this summer. It's probably not one that fans would like to hear realistically with how bad he is. But Harry Toffolo, what do you reckon? Is it one better than what we've got, or how do you see it?
For me, mate, it's a hard pass. I think we have this stigma, as we've all kind of said and spoke about during this and many other streams, is we are becoming retirement FC. And it's where players come at the latter stages of the career to get a decent payout and, not really have to worry too much. We need to move away from that model of things. We've got JJ as a left back. I would prefer to have, like Ants just said there, I liked Luke Thomas. I liked his enthusiasm back end of last year. Is it enough for him to cement a permanent start? Probably not. But he showed good signs. He's a Leicester lad. So, I'd at least give him a bit of a go. But yeah, no, I want to move away from it. I think the player profile that we need to be going at now is, 25, 26 is a cut-off period for us, and that's at a push. I think that's someone in their golden years of it. We've got Woyo Koulibaly, who we've bought. We've got so Ricky P. He's not going to go anywhere, is he? Let's be honest. He's our right back. He's probably going to be the captain if he can stay fit. Fantastic. We've got Woyo and James Justin who can play left back or right back. So for me, Victor Christensen can go. And we could use that money to maybe put towards a striker. I don't think we need any other position. Maybe a backup goalkeeper for Jacob. 2 or 3 keepers is normal for Leicester, so I'm not against that. But yeah, I think we need to sort that out, really. I think first and foremost is just get a striker in, clear out the dead wood, and I don't want anyone over the age of 25, 26.
I agree. I think it's very much where we've got to look at it. Anyone less than 25 or even 25, we could spring someone in. But yeah, that's a thing with Leicester. We've looked at these players rather than what we have in our own academy. To be fair, we have got players, generational talent that can actually bring through. We've got fullbacks like Ricardo, James Justin, Olibodi, Aluko, Koulibaly. We've got good depth in them departments, so I don't think the realistic target is bringing in another fullback this transfer window, because striking is the main option. Maybe another midfielder somewhere along the line if we do end up parting with Samare and Dide, players like that. But Clibbo, what about you, mate? I know you brought it up.
Absolute no chance. No, there's absolutely no point using money for somebody like that, because we've got 3 or 4 different options. I mean, like we've got fullbacks that can operate on both sides. We've got the young lad playing centre back. He's actually a fullback. No chance. I just don't see the point in it. If I could see a point, I might feel a bit different. If you want to do a straight swap, I'd maybe think about that. But is he better than Christensen? I don't know. I don't really know.
I think my daughter's better than Christensen, and she's 2 years old and can't kick a ball straight. So I mean, I'd prefer to put her on there to him. To be fair, it's
As a
pretty
swap,
bad.
I think I'd consider it, but other than that, I don't see the point. I mean, and like you just said, Daz, it's like there's areas of the pitch that could, you know, the expensive areas of the pitch that need investing in, like your striker. So let's put the money towards that if Christensen goes. But it is pretty worrying that his dad is saying that he's likely to stay, because I personally don't think he gets in above a few of the players, to be honest with you. In my opinion.
Boys, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think it massively depends, because if you've got a system like Enzo, it's how Marti Cifuentes is going to utilize the fullbacks. Are they going to be traditional fullbacks? Are they going to be an inverted system again? So it goes from like the left pivot to the back three, in and out of possession. I think that will be instrumental to whether players feel that they can stay and fight for a place. Because last time we went down and Enzo took a look and said, "Nah, I'm changing this," he went out to Bologna on loan. So I think this is why I'm so annoyed at the club taking so long to appoint the manager. I'm glad that they've done it that way, I guess, because we've avoided hopefully PSR and all that K-pop. But I think having the manager in, or at least whispers and say, "Look, no, I don't want this. This is how I play. These are the players that you need to get rid of." We haven't had that. So, yeah, I think the sooner he's in, the sooner we'll know. But, yeah, Christensen needs to go for me, mate. He's useless.
I agree. I need to agree on something. He does play inverted fullbacks, though. Cifuentes, he's very much Enzo esque. They've looked at. So you're looking at a Ricardo sort of going as like a right back type of into the centre of midfield, like he did under Enzo Maresca. Evening, lads. Evening, Reese. Boys, I want to touch on this man, Ben Nelson. Fantastic in pre-season. He was the standout player for Oxford last season. Clibbo, thoughts on Ben Nelson? Young, up and coming. A young head on older shoulders, it very much looks like. It looks like he's played a game for a few years. But what's your thoughts on the excitement into Ben Nelson?
Well, we saw a little bit of him under Enzo. I thought there was real potential there. I think the season that he's had, he come back from injury and then went back to Oxford. They were sort of waxing lyrical about him there, particularly the manager. And I think he's served his apprenticeship and it's time to step forward. And I think one of the things I said earlier about height, I was surprised just how tall he is. He's actually taller than I thought. And if he can contribute a couple of goals next season, up top end, from corners and set pieces, that's another weapon in our arsenal that we haven't had for a while. And even just putting decent balls into an area from set pieces, we've not really had. So if we can improve on that and have someone like him up the top, he's a threat in the air. So for me, he's my first centre back on the team sheet.
Steve, this is one that Dave's talked to. We are still going to be hit by PSR for the last season. We are only trying to mitigation by not taking the hit on rude severance in the same PSR year. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's true. Obviously, the mitigation with the EFL at the moment, I think we're still going to get hit with a points reduction. There might be PSR issues again this season. I'd like to think that there's not, but this is Leicester City, so them saying we've complied with PSR does not mean anything. I think we are going to get hit still, and I think Rude's severance going into this year makes sense. But look, Ruud van Nistelrooy's in the past at this point, isn't he? So I like to think I give the club the benefit of the doubt in the sense of maybe they've sorted it out this year, and if they've complied with it this season just gone, and then if we're in a more of a stable footing going forward, because
Mhm.
we did cut the loss significantly last year, and also the two big losses we had are falling off the books now, so we should be in a better position financially going forward. As in regards to PSL, not so much. We'll still get a loss, no doubt, because most football clubs run at a loss. There aren't many that run at profits nowadays. So,
How would you
yeah,
like it at the beginning of the season or the end, Elm?
I prefer it at the beginning. I'd rather it be hit now so we know what we're going towards rather than being at the end of the season. And say if we're in the playoffs by 7 points and we get hit with a 9 point deduction, and, because I think they want to try and do it before the season ends anyway. They won't want to hit a club in sort of the end of May, beginning of June, because it's just too much financial. Like the legal situation there would just be too sort of difficult to deal with. So I think they'd want to get it done before the playoffs started. But knowing us, we'd be in the playoffs by 8 points. We get hit with a 9 point deduction and we finish seventh because they wanted to sort of kick us in the teeth a little bit. So yeah, I don't like giving the club rope because we all know what they can do with it. They'll trip over and fall down the stairs with it around the neck. Let's be honest. But let's hope with this appointment and hopefully some player sales, because we've still got plenty of time left in the transfer window. We should then hopefully look to it should be a little bit better. But just going back to Ben Nelson, I actually had a chat with him yesterday whilst the game was going on. I did say to him, "What's your plans for the season?" And he did say, "I want to start every single game." So,
That's
that if
ambitious.
we've got a player that wants to play football, that wants to play for the club, and he's very talented with both feet. He's very sort of confident on the ball, and let's be honest, he's 6'4". He's a big bastard. So I hope we start him as much as we can over somebody like Cody Fass or Vestergaard. Because he deserves to play now. He's shown himself that he can play in the Championship.
And the way he could just ping a ball yesterday, you were watching him when he played yesterday, Ben Nelson. The way he could just control that defence, the leadership that he showed when Ricardo gave him that armband, the way he can just spread the pass like it's no one's business. To be fair, the confidence is thriving, isn't it? He's a young lad. He wants to learn, and he wants to be probably the best centre back in bloody Europe at one point. To be fair, that's probably his ambition. He wants to get to the very top. And what's your thoughts on Ben Nelson? How important of a player is he going to be next season in that role, being in the first team?
He should be the kind of player that we're building the core of this team around. Young, homegrown. Well, let's say homegrown. That's not massively important, but young, talented, seems to have the right attitude on him, and ultimately looks very talented as well. I think it was very telling, and I don't think enough's been made of it. The fact of when Ricardo came off, Ben Nelson was given the armband when there were other senior players on that pitch as well, much older players and players that have been here much longer than he has. Ben Nelson was given the armband, and I think that's shown sort of how highly he is held. When we talked about how you talked about his like how well he was playing the ball out from the back and some of the passing, but I also think there was a time where he was pressed and he just skipped past the Leuven striker as if he wasn't there. For a 6'4" bloke, he moves like the way that he moves on the ball. He shouldn't be able to be as calm on the ball as he is when he's that size. It's almost Van Dijk-esque, and I know that's big praise, but it's that aura of just calmness about him.
His positioning's fantastic. The way he was speaking, like he were bloody leading the whole team yesterday, and that shows trust, doesn't it, Clibo, in Ben Nelson? That you know what, he is young and he is a future captain.
Yeah, and I also think it's like what I was saying earlier, when we were discussing Vestergaard. He's got that passing range, or he will have it, given a little bit more experience. But he's got more pace. He's better in the air. His positioning is better. So he has to play. He has to play, and I think he has got leadership qualities. One thing I did see to pick out yesterday was the fact that more than any of the seasons recently, there are captains that you can see developing. You know, we just kind of gave it to Vardy, or we kind of gave it to. And I never thought Vardy was a captain, if you ask me. I didn't, as great as he was, I never saw him as captain material. Ricardo, yeah, but we got like you've got Chowdhury. He's got some experience as a. Are you going to sneeze, Jack? Look to the light.
No, I'm just looking at a bloody Chelsea bloody
Oh,
game.
you're like going to sneeze, mate.
Just looking back at the Chelsea highlights.
Yeah, so for me, he's future captain, and I think there's a few captains that we can rely on in the club. It can only benefit. It can only benefit him because, like you were saying, Anne, he's the kind of player that the club needs to use as a foundation to build around, and he's got everything I want to see in a player at Leicester City.
I agree. Daz, Ben Nelson, what's your initial thoughts on him?
I think he's just phenomenal. I think he's going to be a tough player to keep a hold of. That's the only caveat. I think he's got all the qualities of a leader. Ricky P giving him the armband yesterday was just monumental for me. You know, so you think he's everything you want in a decent centre back. Chelsea have already been named about sniffing around him. So you know, if that's what I mean, if we can keep hold of him, you know, as an outstanding season again in the Championship, this time at his boyhood club, you know, Leicester instead of Oxford, it'll put him in good stead. I don't know what his contract situation's like. That's the only thing. Obviously, I don't know how long he's got left on a contract or anything, so I might need to pull that up. But if it's like 12 or 24 months, might be squeaky bum time a little bit. So
he signed a new contract in August last year.
How long for?
I don't know. Give me a second. I don't. But the fact that he joined us at 9 years old, which is, you know, he's here until 2027, so he's got a couple of years.
Played under Enzo as well. Scored his first goal against QPR.
QPR.
Which Clibo was sat behind the goal and he
I was.
Into it, yeah.
I jumped up like a lunatic when he scored that because I was. I mean, I cannot tell you how bored I was in that game. And ironically, it was our new manager that was in charge and completely outthought Enzo that game. But I thought he was one of the bright sparks in the game, to be honest with you.
Appreciate it. Guys, hit a like on the stream if you enjoyed the stream. Subscribe to Ant's channel. Subscribe to The Final Whistle. Both good channels. We try and cover a lot of Leicester City. So whatever goes on, we are here to chat about it. We've got a great panel tonight. Steve, Clibo, Daz, and yeah, there's probably a lot more to discuss, to be fair. And I tell you what, we're going to chat about this, man. Firstly, I'm going to play his video about how good this guy was yesterday.
Yeah.
That guy is what we will call a generational talent, by the way, because all the big teams wanted a piece of him. Let's be fair, before he signed the scholarship, it's good to see that Rude did bring him through and give him that opportunity, give him that pathway into the first team. Because if it weren't for Van Nistelrooy, we probably wouldn't have got anywhere near bringing him in. But he gave him the opportunity. He's a generational talent that's going to be a future star, boys, to be honest, Jeremy Monga. And what's your thoughts on Jeremy Monga? He's a very exciting talent, isn't he? And this guy is very hard to get the ball off. And the way he can just take on players like they're not even there, it's just exceptional. He's grown into the game a lot more since giving his first Leicester City game in the first team. And yesterday, he just thrived with confidence and a very young head on older shoulders, and he's only 16, and this guy's going to be very far in the game.
Yeah, he's one of those that, like, you could, as soon as you heard Man City were sniffing around and other clubs, you start to worry and think, oh, he's not going to stay. But I think the fact he has is absolutely huge for us. And Like, there's going to be a lot of journeyman fullbacks in the Championship this year that are looking very worried because in the Premier League he made some very decent fullbacks look very average, and like it's just exciting the fact that we've got these kind of talents coming through the academy, and this is exactly why we moved to Seagrove, so we could have this production line of young players coming through. I think the big thing for him is we he needs to get game time, but we can't overdo it within this season. He can't start every single game. It's going to be a balancing act for Cifuentes because he is only 16. Like he won't fully be developed yet, but it's exciting to have these kind of talents coming through.
Steve, you was at the training ground yesterday watching Jeremy Monga. What was your thoughts on his overall game?
Well, I was like right. I was on like where he was attacking, literally on that side there. And every time he came up against the fullback and their defensive midfielder, he was just burning them for pace. You know, a bit of trickery and putting it through the legs and into the box. Like seeing somebody at the age of 16 have that much talent whilst you're sat there eating a burger, just being like, oh, well, you know, it's incredible, really. Like I made a prediction earlier that he'll play for England before he's 19. I genuinely think that he'll be with us for a couple of years and he'll get a big move at the age of 18 to Man City or Liverpool or whoever. Maybe probably Chelsea at this point because they like a winger. And he, as long as because I think Kate was saying this earlier on Blue Tinted that he's still only young, so he's still growing. So if he's 5'5", 5'6" now, and he ends up at sort of 6', 6'1", he's got a lot of growth to do in that time, and that's the period where your body is growing, and you know your legs. There can be complications with injuries. So if he's playing too much at this age, you know, so yes, you need to sort of put him in slowly. Maybe start a couple of games here or there, bring him off the bench, but don't overdo it because we don't want to. You know, I say he is a generational talent. He's going to be somebody that plays for a big club for a long time. And you've seen it with Dele Alli and players like that, where they start really young, they hit the ground running, they play really well for 5, 6, 7 years, and then you know they fall off completely because they've just been put through the grind too much. So yeah, I agree with Clibo. Don't play him every game. Give him sort of 20 minutes, half an hour here or there when the fullbacks are tired. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to him coming up against a proper EFL sort of a fullback. It gives him a good kick and see how he reacts to that because he's not had one yet. He's not had somebody take him out and he pick himself back up and think, "Fuck it, I'm going to go again and go again and go again." So that'll be interesting to see.
Clibo, Frankie talks about Monger. He's actually incredibly smart in football terms. His development, he knows staying here for about 2, 3, maybe 4 years, and he'll go to a top 4 side within the next first team on bigger wages. What's your thoughts on his development? Obviously, he's still young. Like Steve said, he's going to get kicked next season in the Championship. They are physical, aren't they? These defenders, they're not going to want to allow him any space to even take them on, to be fair. But he's going to fancy his chances massively the more games he plays. What's your thoughts on Monger and his development and getting into that first team squad next season in the starting 11?
My big worry is, there's a few things that worry me, is that he's extremely talented, and I've no doubt that the fans will see him and want him to play every game. There might come a situation where we've got injuries and he's needed to play every game. Then he does exceptionally well, and before he signs his major contract at Leicester that will guarantee us decent money, a big team will come and say, we'll play you, mate. And then he doesn't sign the big contract. That's the worry for me.
He has already signed the contract, so he signed a pre-contract, which means that when he turns 17, that he will sign his professional contract with the club. So that won't happen now. So that we will get a big fee for him if he goes.
Right, that's good to hear. I do wonder how watertight those things are these days, but that would be nice.
Daz, Jeremy Monger.
Wonder boy. I think he's like I say, I think he is going to be a generational talent. Like you say, he's signed his scholarship now, so at least he's signed, sealed, and delivered, and we are going to definitely get a professional contract out of him, which is paramount for me. We've obviously had a couple that have slipped through the net. I'm hoping that we see him integrated properly. I don't want him to be integrated too fast. I don't want him to be just. It can be very detrimental to his growth if you're literally chucking him in every single game, first game of this, first game of that. He needs to be treated like Fatawu should be treated, in my opinion. Like you say, when he comes back, little bit of a beer, little bit there, come and relieve Mavididi after 60 minutes, after 70 minutes or something, get him some game time. And then once he's done that, then you could maybe go, right, you're starting today, and then swap it round a little bit, maybe do him for like 50, 60 minutes and then chuck Mavididi on to finish the game or whatever. You've got to look after it, but I'm glad that we'll experience some really good football finally on the wingers, because we've been crying out for wingers bar the season we got relegated, because we had to get rid of Harvey Barnes. We had Perez, who maybe play on the wing, and then we had Tete on the wing. We've not really been blessed with amazing wingers bar the Riyad Mahrez and all that sort of stuff. So it's nice now that we've got a plethora of them, and I'm glad that one of our own is coming through.
And what about building that character? I mean, you look at the shithousery what Jamie Vardy's built up over the years and everything like that. What about Jeremy Monger's character? How much is he going to learn about the dark arts of football and really adding that more to his game?
I don't know. I think it's hard to say, isn't it? Because we've seen very little of him so far. But I think we're going to see a lot. We're going to learn a lot more about him when something isn't going so well, as it was mentioned earlier. When he gets that proper first kick in, and because there will be a point where he's probably frustrating a fullback that much, if they don't even try and get the ball, they just go straight through him. You learn more about his character then than when things are going well. I think I said it as well when I talked about loaning players out. You often learn more about a player out on loan when the loan doesn't go fantastically well than when a player goes out on loan, smashes it, is getting told from everyone that he's the next, like Messi, X, Y, and Z. So I think we'll learn more about him when maybe he misses a big chance. He gets snapped. He gets like something that doesn't quite go in his favour. Because so far, and rightly so, because he's been fantastic. All we've seen of him so far, it's been praise. It's been he's fantastic. He's this, that, and the other. Maybe when it's not going so well, I think that's when we can have this conversation of what's his character like and what's the steel like.
So before we talk about who makes Marti Cifuentes'S Leicester City squad, before we actually look at the squad that can get in that team and how they play, I want to touch on two more youngsters with you all. Jadon Joseph, this guy's versatile. This guy can play defence, he can play midfield, he can play wherever you want him to play. Probably even play as a goalkeeper, if I'm honest, this bloke. He has done it in the under-23s. You learn to become very versatile about yourself. He's another young player who could be very much in the England setup with the under-21s at some point. I know Louis Page is there at the minute, isn't he? But what's been your initial thoughts on Jadon Joseph, Steve? You'd have watched him again yesterday. What's been your thoughts?
Yeah, he's a tidy player, to be honest, and to have a utility player that can play all around the pitch is it's quite rare in today's day and age. So to have somebody that can drop back into defence or push forward if needs be is good. I actually think that a player like him would go for more money than quite a lot of the younger players we've got, because again, that utility, he's a bit like James Milner. Always solid, always dependable, and he won't sort of throw a hissy fit if he gets asked to play at left back, from 35 minutes onwards because somebody's been injured. So yeah, he's a good young player, and it's I just think it's really refreshing. You sit there and you look at the amount of young lads that we've got coming through at the moment, and being like, wow, like where has this been for the last sort of 5, 6, 7 years? It's incredible that we've now got a bunch of lads that are all been at the academy for a long time, sort of 9, 10, 11, 12, to be here. So they're ingrained in the club. They know they've been around the players that have won the Premier League and the FA Cup and the good times. They've been around the club when, there's been some terrible times as well. And hopefully they're learning from that. But yeah, I think he could be a really good asset this season, actually. I think he's old enough to play and be a good member of the squad.
Clibo, Jaden Joseph.
Well, I think just judging by Kingy comments about him, the fact that you just give him an instruction and away he goes. I think it's a culture that's being bred into the modern game, particularly at youth level, where a player has to understand a lot more about the other aspects of the game that are not exclusive to their preferred job role. And I think that's something that's not exclusive to him. I think there's a few players that have come out of that academy that look incredibly versatile. Whatever position they play, you can see that they chase back. You can see that they go forward. You can see that they can put a tackle in. Their positioning seems, pretty much on point. So I wouldn't say exclusively he's a utility player. I would say it's just, he is a utility player, but it's a bit of an old-fashioned term now, isn't it? And I think that that's sort of something that's happening in academies throughout Europe, where they're understanding the role of other parts of the pitch. And I think that's brilliant.
I agree. Daz, I'm going to let you and Ant have this one, to be honest. This guy's a generational talent in itself. I've been very impressed with this guy, watching him play. He's a fullback that can play very much centre-back. He can play along the back four, if I'm honest with you. Olabardi Aluko has been very impressive. The composure, his positional play, the pace he has to get back. He's very confident. And the way he just struts around the pitch and says, you know what, try and take me on because I'll always have that extra yard on you. What's been your thoughts on Olabardi Aluko and how much can we actually utilise him ahead of next season?
My thoughts on Aluko has been amazing. I was quite happy with seeing him. I liked the fact that he was making darting runs from behind, driving the ball forward as well. That was quite nice to see that in his game during that lovely 4-hour marathon. It was nice to see it. I think in general, I think it's just nice just to see some good, tall, proper centre backs who can pose a danger at both ends of the pitch. If it's a corner, we're trying to get a goal last minute, or we're trying to do something. It's nice to see that he's also, like you say, a bit of a versatile player, can play right back and stuff. I think the future of Leicester City is really going to start coming to fruition. But again, it's up to us it's up to the club to properly utilise players like this, because the only thing that I think is, it's not so much of a problem at the minute because they're so early on in their development career. I know obviously we're all chomping at the bit to see all these young players come in and make an impact straight away. I would argue obviously Ben Nelson's a lot further along the lines as someone like him. So while we've got this stagnated load of players in and around there, like, your Vestergaards who's on a longer contract, your Connor Codys and stuff that are eventually going to leave in a year or so, maybe he would benefit from going out on loan. And I don't want to say that because I don't think he's good enough. I just think solid game time in maybe League One, Championship, build up his confidence, play for another squad. It's going to do wonders for him, while also making sure that we can keep an eye on his progress. And if it's not going the way we want it to, we can obviously call them back.
And Michael touches on the academy players. It's refreshing to see them get in, who can play for the show. Hopefully 4, maybe 5 of them integrated into the first team for this coming season.
Yeah, that's the way that we've got to go, because it's like we've touched on it earlier on. Obviously, a big reason we're in the financial situation we're in is because we've gone for well, I say established players. We've gone for players that are too old, finished, and yes, they've got the experience, but they don't have the legs anymore. The academy players, one, it saves you the money, and two, they will be hungry to come in and prove a point. I feel like there'll be a lot more patience with players coming through the academy if they're making mistakes and you can see they're trying and they're learning than there is when you've got players that are just here for a final payday, and then if they're making mistakes, you're like, they don't really care either. So
Mm.
I feel like a huge amount of it is about the attitude and the ethics that seems to be being installed in these academy players.
Steve, you do have a Luco, a squad number, in order to see the likes of Justin, Luke Thomas, Ricardo moving on. Not all of them, but they all have 1 year left on the contract.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think you give a Luco a squad number for sure. I think you bring him through. I do agree also that I think a loan would be beneficial for him. You saw
Mm.
what happened to Ben Nelson when he went out on loan to a team that was potentially going to struggle in the Championship, and obviously not struggling because there were teams that were worse below them. But that experience is quite important. So I think you can send him out to a top end sort of, I don't know, League Two, sort of maybe Midland League One sort of
Mm.
level, and see how,
Mm.
because he's only 18. So or is he 18? No, he's 18, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Aluko is 18 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still quite young, so he's still got a lot of development to do. So rather than giving him the pressure of a squad number and then him not getting the minutes that he needs, yeah, I think a loan move would work out. I In regards to the last years of the contracts for sort of Justin, Ricardo, and whoever, at this point, I think if we don't sell them this summer anyway, they go next season. So it doesn't really matter. And if you send the Luke out on loan and he gets experience and he does well, you then bring him back in and you think, okay, he can hit the ground running. He's a young lad with confidence who's had a good season under his belt. And if we're in the Premier League, okay, it might be a big step up and we have to bring somebody in and then he plays sort of second fiddle for a season. If we're in the Championship next season, then stick him in by all means because I think he would do a job, in a year or so for sure.
Clibbo, Josh talks about Will Alves. Thoughts on Will Alves' pre-season so far? I need to see more from him. Sorry. What's your thoughts on Will Alves? I thought he linked up quite well with Bilal El Kanouche yesterday. Watching, I think he needs to add a bit more to his game potentially. He did do a decent job at Cardiff last season when going on loan there. What's been your thoughts on Will Alves? Is he one that could potentially play as a centre attacking mid next season in the team?
I'm a massive, massive fan of Alves. Followed him through the youth system. I think something that's been labelled at him is that he needs a better end product. However, I think if you look throughout, particularly the last two games, that can be labelled at quite a lot of players. I predicted at the beginning of the season, out of the young players, he will be the one that would have the most consistent season. I can see Alves being a starter. I think I think he's very, in terms of football, he's very grown up. Decision making, positioning, link up play. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a star for Leicester, and I would like to see him potentially as our number 10. And could swap with Monga. That's the way Monga could be getting in the side as a 10. But you could put Monga anywhere along the top three. And I think he would perform. But
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Alves. I think he's some refreshing, and I think something that will benefit the team, not just the squad next season.
yeah, it's just about like Ez says here. Barnes didn't have enough end product straight away, but he did get better when going out to West Brom and that, and he learned
Yeah.
his trade quite well. Boys, let's talk about who makes the Marti Cifuentes'S Leicester City squad then. So, do you want to go? Do you want to mention some of the names that won't go, that won't be in there first, or do you want to go straight to the 11 and getting that out the way first?
Depends what system he's going to play. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I've heard 4-3-3. You know, I've heard all the different systems.
Yeah.
I think we can guarantee. I think we can all probably pick the same back four and keeper, but after that, it's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
say, in regards to the keeper, if Hermansson leaves, Jakob really needs to work on his passing because his
Yeah.
long balls yesterday and in the previous games before the end of the season, they weren't great. Like he can pass the ball out 5 yards, that's okay, but if he's going to try and keep the ball long, he needs to get better at it because he's not been good.
Are we going to
Yeah.
do this on the premises that we do believe certain players are going to leave? Because obviously, I'd put mortgage money on the fact that we are going to lose Mads Manson. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
that's a
I agree.
given.
Okay. We'll analyse it like that then. Which players we
Cool.
actually don't think are going to be here. So we'll go with Stolasic in goal. I think that'd be the easier choice. I think Mads could potentially be sold because he'll get value of the money that we actually get for him.
Yeah.
I
And
think
he's a big bastard as well.
the defence picks itself as well, though, doesn't it? You know, Ricardo. Who else have we got? James Justin left back potentially.
Yeah.
But then who's your centre backs? Do you go with? I mean, Koulibaly could play as a centre back, but then you'd rather you Ben Nelson and who else have we got in there at the minute?
But you Nelson and Kohler, really.
I'd have a Coley and Nelson.
Kohler, yeah. I'm bloody thinking of a Kohler. I could bloody think about it first. I'm thinking of Koulibaly, but yeah, I'd go with them two as the centre back partnership, Coley and Ben Nelson for me. Harry Suter, squad player at best. I think he can, with the 46 games that we are going to play in the Championship, he'll come in and do it. And what do we do? Do we go with a 4-2-3-1 or should we go more with a 4-3-3?
4-2-3-1 looks like the way that Cifuentes'S is typically set up.
Okay, so who's your two sort of midfielders?
Harry Winks and Oliver Skip. And I say that because I think Ndidi will be gone quite quick with this supposed release clause. So, and I actually think Oliver Skip at Championship level will be a decent player, as he should be for 25 million, by the way. And I know that the transfer fee wasn't his fault, which I do feel slightly bad that every time his name comes up, then it's followed by 25 million. It's never just Oliver Skip. It's like they're just joined together. But I think in terms of Championship midfield, I don't think there'll be many better than Harry Winks and Oliver Skip.
Samara, I'd say so.
I hope so.
I think he leaves. I think he leaves.
So who's going to pay the money for him? He's been linked with a few La Liga sides and a few French teams, so hopefully we'll get some money for
He's
him.
on 12 months left, isn't he? So
yeah.
Well,
the thing is with Samara,
take it.
With Samara, when he looks good, he looks brilliant.
Yeah.
But when he looks bad, he looks absolutely honking. And the thing
Which is most of the time.
He looks bad much more than he looks good.
Yeah.
So we need to sell him for about 4 million to make a profit in his final year.
Yes.
Bearing in mind
which we will be able
contract.
to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think midfield wise, you're looking at Winks, and I think Brownhill comes in.
Interesting. He did well yesterday, Brownhill. And for what is he? Is it that aside at the minute? It's not it, Burnley.
Nice passing range as well.
They were good for them yesterday.
Good passing range.
Josh Brownhill would be a fantastic acquisition for Leicester all day. Him and Harry Winks, dream midfield in the Championship.
I'm not so sure on Winks and Skip. I'm not so sure that's very progressive. But then again, it's who you put in instead. I mean, I think he'll play Winks. I do think he'll play Winks.
I think
it seems he would fit his system, I think. But I don't know about Skip. I mean, I think Skip played a little bit better yesterday. I thought he had some good moments, and I was pleased for him because the boys took a lot of shit.
He does need to go to Turkey though and get his hairline sorted out because that bald spot is blinding at times.
I see. Yeah. Sweet, yes.
He looks older than me.
Has the bald spot as well.
Putting you off, Steve, were it during the game?
Sorry?
Did it put you off during the game yesterday when you seen him run past?
A little bit, and it was more after. I didn't realize how bad it was until I got the photo with him afterwards, and I was like, "Poor guy." Maybe that's why his confidence is so low.
And
Get
I've
him off
Louis,
the
Yeah.
telly, get him a new haircut, and he might he might turn into Beckenbauer or someone.
He'll be combing his arse by the time he's 30 with that hairline.
Louis Page won't be bad in there, but then again, it's about sort of bringing these in gradually. It's no good starting them at the start. You can't start every academy player.
No,
You've got
it's
to
true.
sort of bring them in gradually over the season, and then how they go from there. But Skip's not for me. I mean that money is not worth the money we paid, but that's the club's fault, not the player. So if we can get Brownhill on a decent contract or even a decent wages, which you know what wages in Leicester go hand in hand, don't they, Steve, for big wages? But Harry Winks and Brownhill would be the ideal one. There's been no real links regarding Josh Brownhill at the minute. I do talk to my mate who knows people inside Burnley, and he's very much along the Leicester could have offered him a contract, but Burnley are offering him. I think they're offering him 95k. Burnley and on a 3-year contract. So if Leicester offered him, Leicester would have to offer him 4 and then whatever wages it come with it. But I wouldn't say
I don't think he's worth that. I can't see he's offering, that sort of money now. Not that we're getting rid of the higher earners within the next 12 months. It would be stupid to replace it with more.
Why do people think so many players will leave? It's because they want to go. Doesn't mean we let them. Money, then how much is our debt? That's a fair point, isn't it, Clibo, that one, what Planet Earth said?
Well, I think so many people will leave is it because they want to go. Doesn't mean we. Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it is a fair point. It is a fair point. I mean, the thing is, the legalities of all these kind of things are so bloody complicated that we're sitting here like talking about it like this should happen, this should happen. There's so many different contributing factors to players staying and going. I mean, we've heard about players desperate to get out of the club, not playing for the club, i.e., certain goalkeepers, and they weren't allowed to leave. So it's hard to say what actually does go on in these situations.
So my understanding could be if we keep Bilal, would you play him as a number 8 with Harry Winks next season, then play somebody else in that centre attacking midfield role, Steve?
No.
Go on, elaborate.
The reason I don't think so is that I think Bilal is a creative player that needs to have the freedom to go and play between the striker and the midfield. You put him as number 8, but he's going to do a lot more running in that sort of sense and trying to cover more positions than he. No, let him be creative in the midfield.
It's so open for that, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, let the wingers and Bilal have fun with the striker, and then go from there.
And what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think
who do you play in the centre attacking midfield role? Is it Bilal?
if he's still here, I don't think he'll still be here at the start of the season. I really don't. You could potentially see Mavadidi in the same way that we talked about him having played striker before at Montpellier. He has played as a number 10. But I think Josh Brownhill will play, we mentioned him playing alongside Winks. Last year he played in a much more advanced role and had his best season of his career in terms of his numbers. So potentially Josh Brownhill playing as a number 10. But if that thing about 95k a week, if that's true, then we should be going nowhere near him.
Well, we won't.
Yeah.
Asma have got to learn to say no at these things.
There's just no way. The EFL will be jumping on us if they even sniff that, they'll jump on us.
Yeah,
I agree. What about wingers, boys? Where are we looking at for the outfield players in the winging positions?
I think if everyone's fit, the wingers choose themselves in terms of the starters of Fatawu and Mabadidi. It's then you've got very good depth in Casey McAteer, obviously Jeremy Monga, and I think that's exciting. The fact that we've got that much rotation there.
We've got depth.
It's not just depth; it's quality and depth.
If West Ham pay the money, mate, they can have him. You get
40 million, you can have him.
Yeah, if you offer in the region of £30 million and £30 million, I think Leicester would accept for him. then,
And the sell-on clause.
Yeah, exactly. So you get 15% on the sell-on clause as well, and he does become a world-class keeper. Then we can talk about it. Also, West Ham have inquired about Bilal. Where's that? I've not seen
That's
it.
from L'Equipe, isn't it? So I'll take it with a huge pinch of salt.
I said this at the a couple of weeks ago. I could see Forest coming into Bilal.
If Morgan Gibbs White's going, then that would make 100%. And if it's Forest, then there's twat tax, and they have to pay double.
Rob them of some £1 million. Put 70 million on it, and you can have him.
100%.
I love you say that just as Door comes in.
Put 80 million on it.
Yeah,
we'll get home with some 25 million. Boys, striker. Obviously, we've only got 2 to pick from the current.
A new striker. We don't want any of them. A new one, please.
New striker. Yeah, fair enough.
If we had to pick one, and I can't believe I'm saying it, if we had to pick one,
it's got to be Ayu, hasn't it?
It's got to be Ayu, yeah.
It's got to be Ayu.
I said this to a friend. It's like being 4 inches in your mum, your dad's 4 inches inside of you. Like, which way do you push?
Christ.
Ayu or Daka? Like, it's a really difficult choice between them both.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That comment just ends it there, doesn't it?
Locke said yesterday he'd rather go forward than backwards. So,
Wow.
All right, well, on that note, I'm shaking.
That's good. Good show. What do we reckon then, boys? We'll play a little bit of bingo. When do we reckon Cifuentes'S is going to be announced?
Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
What time?
Well, I mean, that's in the lap of the gods, isn't it? I mean, just to pick a day, I think is enough for right now, don't you? I'm going to go tomorrow. I think tomorrow, some point midday-ish.
Yeah, I agree.
Wednesday, 3 o'clock.
I say Tuesday about 12:30 because we go to Austria on the Wednesday. So I think they'll want it being placed by then.
And the last words with you?
I'm going to go tomorrow, 6 o'clock.
Cool.
I tell you what, I'm going to go 12 p.m. tomorrow.
I'm going that as well.
Last question. You have 2 options. You can only pick one. Danny Ward and Prime Vardy play every game for Leicester, or Prime Casper and Patson Daka.
Danny Ward, Prime Vardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit that.
Yeah. Right. And thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Shout out your channel. Plug it, mate, before I let you go.
So Ant's Leicester fan channel back as of last Friday, making content. Really glad to be back, able to do it again. So really looking forward to continuing into the new season.
Appreciate it. Cheers, Ant, mate.
Cheers.
Daz, thanks for coming on, mate.
No, Sam, mate. No worries. Thanks for having me.
All the best. Hopefully we'll get you on again soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take care, boys.
Cheers, mate. Steve, thanks for coming on, mate. Better late than never, but you did say you might not be on, but then you make a special guest appearance in the end. But thanks for coming on, pal.
No, I've always got time for you, Jack. You know that.
Appreciate it. Have a good rest of the
See you later, boys.
See you later, mate. Clibo, better last, the man himself. What do you reckon then, Clibo? Cifuentes'S, good appointment?
I'm going to be positive about it, mate. I am. Whoever we got in, I said I would support them, obviously, to a point. I am quite happy about this. I think, the appointment was really about how we could develop what we had. And given his background, I think he's got as good a chance as any as developing some of these in the right way, because I think he's experienced enough and knows how to do it. So I'm excited about it. I just want it over the line now. Like, get the new kit out, get this done, and start making the fans more optimistic. We all seem to be sort of sitting back a little bit on our optimism because, lack of clarity on things. And I think that signing of the manager and the new sponsorship or shirt or whatever, and I think we'll all start to be back on board again, even though we're in the Championship.
Cheers, Clibo.
Nice.
Right, that is it. The late night whistle is finished. Well, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. By the way, we try and do these late shows and get everyone involved. Hit the like button if you enjoy the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you know and you haven't subscribed already. Please get down and do so. Hopefully, the Cifuentes'S appointment is very soon, by the way, and we can get it rolling on with a transfer window and that. But thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great rest of the night, wherever you're up to, and keep it the final whistle. Take care.